Welcome back to another Family History Friday video with the Butler Area Public Library. I'm Margaret, and in this video, we are going to show you how to become a search pro using the catalog on familysearch.org. So Family Search has a really gigantic collection of records, but you might be missing out on a lot of them if you don't know how to use their catalog. This is because a lot of records are available to look at, but they're not indexed. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to search their catalog, how to identify unindexed image-only records, and how to navigate them. So let's get started. I could spend hours showing you the different kinds of records that you can find in the Family Search catalog in these image-only sets, but it really is as varied as each individual person's family research needs. But just to give you an idea, there are naturalization papers from all over the United States that you can't find on other genealogy websites. Both typed and handwritten indexes for records here in Butler County, which are different than the records that you find on Ancestry, are going to be available on Family Search. But there's stuff from all over. Here's a naturalization paper from Colorado. There are land records from all over the country, so here's a deed book from Butler County. You can look at deeds. There are church records. Church records are something that so many people are seeking, especially when they're researching their ancestors overseas. So you're going to find international church records on Family Search. This one that we're looking at here is a Polish church record. It's from back in the 1850s, back when Poland was part of the larger Austro-Hungarian Empire. And today these records are held by the archives of Ukraine, but you can view them right here on Family Search. There are census records from all over the world. Here's one from France. And you even find all kinds of quirky community records. So this is an example of a surgeon's nomination by the Bishop of York from England from 1696. So really, you never know what you're going to find. To find the catalog on Family Search and really get started on your deep dive into your research, you're going to start at their main website, familysearch.org. And click on Search at the top left. That's going to open up a menu, and you want to pick Catalog. So the Family Search catalog has a couple of different ways that you can search it. So you can search by a keyword, by a specific author, by a specific book title, by a surname, but the default is to search by place. And I think this is a really nifty tool because it lets you know all of the records that are available for a specific geographic area. So for example, if we were looking for records here in Butler County, Pennsylvania, I'm just going to start typing Butler, and it gives me a list of all the Butlers around the world. I'm going to pick Butler, Pennsylvania, and hit search. And so here is a categorized list of all the records in the Family Search catalog that are specific to Butler County. If you click on any of these subject headings, it will unroll and show you a list of the materials inside. Clicking on the titles of any of these records will show you more about this specific record collection. The catalog on Family Search is a little bit different from the card catalog on other genealogy sites because this is a catalog of all records in the Family Search collection. Now, Family Search has physical research libraries around the world, so that's what makes it a little bit different. So when we're looking at the catalog on Family Search, our search results are going to include three different kinds of records. These are indexed records, print materials, and unindexed records. So indexed records are the things that you're already probably finding in your search. These are the records you see when you use the search page. The names, the places, and the dates have all been transcribed and tagged for easy searching. There are things like census records, draft cards, and marriage records, the big collections that are already indexed for searching. The other kind of record that you might find are print materials. So since this is a card catalog of all records in the physical Family Search library as well as the digital records, you might find some print materials. And what's neat about this is it might be your little breadcrumbs to find material at your local public library collection. And it also might lead you to a digital version of that book. So let's look quickly at an example of that. Here's our first example of a record that is a print item. So I'm going to click this Butler County Veterans of World War II. And when I look at the results for it, I can see that this is an actual book written by someone named Richard Curry, and it was published locally here in Butler, Pennsylvania. And I know that I can't view it online because when I look down here at the record information, I get a call number for an actual item on a shelf in a library. But never fear, because we can search our local library card catalog and see if they have that information. Or you might search the library holdings of a library in the geographic area that this material is specific to. So here we can see that we actually have several physical copies of this book of Richard Curry's here at the Butler Library that are available both for checkout and reference. Let's find another print item. Here in the section of histories, I see a listing for the history of Butler County, Pennsylvania, with illustrations and biographical sketches of some of its prominent men and pioneers. This is the 1883 county history of Butler. But we can see here that there is actually a digital version of this available. So I'm going to click where it says click here in this red text. And that takes me to a full scan of this book. So I am able to look at an original copy of this 1883 Butler County history that has been scanned and uploaded. I'm able to flip through page by page. I can zoom in and out, and I can download sections of this book. The last kind of record that you're going to find on Family Search are those unindexed record collections. You might also see these referred to as image-only collections. So these are records, either books or reels of microfilm, that have recently been digitized and they're uploaded and ready to use. They just aren't indexed, so they don't have the tags in them with the names, the places, and the dates to make them show up in a traditional search. So this means we have to go out and look for these records. Let's look at this listing for registration of deaths 1893 to 1905. We can see that this was a manuscript on film, and it's microfilm of the originals from the Butler County Courthouse. But down here, because we have this little camera icon, that means that those images are available to view. Let's click on that camera. And that brings us to a set of thumbnails for the images in this collection. Up here on the left-hand side, there's 441 pages or images in this record set. I can double-click on any image to zoom in. So here we can see a set of pages from the Butler County death records. I can use the controls on the left-hand side to zoom in and zoom out. And if I want to turn the page, I can use the arrows. So one click of the next arrow will turn the page. But I can also jump far ahead in this book. If I click the little icon of a set of squares, that means browse multiple images. That zooms me back out to the thumbnail view. And then I can scroll down and jump way ahead and zoom in on another page. So this is exciting because these death record registrations would previously have only been available to you if you went to the Butler County Courthouse in person, or if you viewed the book of transcriptions that we have here at the library. But now we can view the actual original handwritten copy here on Family Search. Look at those little icons so you know what you're going to be able to view. So there's 3 basic icons for records that are digitized. So the first is a camera. That means that you can view the pictures of these records anywhere. The second is a camera with a little key over top. This means that you can view the images, but there's certain location-specific conditions to do so. And the last icon that you might see is a little film reel. That means that this is a collection that's available on microfilm, but it's not yet digitized. So you'll just want to wait and check back later on that one. So if you click a record with that little camera with the key, you're going to get a pop-up that looks like this. So it tells you that there are images available, but because of contract reasons, you have to go to a specific location to view them. And the location I want you to be aware of are Family Search affiliate libraries. So what's an affiliate library? These are public libraries who can provide you with access to those locked collections. And the Butler Area Public Library is an affiliate library. So you can come to our library, get on our internet, and view any of these locked record collections. And since we are open 6 days a week, we've got a lot of hours for you to be able to do so. And you'll just want to check our website for our current hours. When we get ready to dig into these records, just remember that every image record set is different, so get comfortable exploring. I like to say that you want to treat each image set like a book that you're pulling off the shelf or a reel of film that you're taking out of the drawer. So look at the first few images, jump to the center of it, look at the very back to get a feel for the way that the records are arranged, because you might be able to understand the logic of it a lot better once you've played around a little bit. Let's go back to those Butler County death records and look at one way that you can explore a record set to get more familiar with it. When I'm looking at these thumbnails, I can see, even when they're really tiny like this, pages that look like they have more white space and pages that look like they have more writing. So I'm already looking for visual clues like that that are going to help me key into how these records are organized. And when I zoom in on these, I can see there's an A in the upper corner, and all of these names that are listed are surnames that start with A. And then it looks like they're roughly recorded chronologically. So that gives me a clue that these records in this particular location are grouped by surname and then recorded chronologically. And sure enough, if I zoom out and I come to this next section where it looks like text starts and zoom back in, now we have the B records. And then down here in the next row, after some white space, the C records. So that lets me know if I say have a surname Robinson that begins with R, I'm not going to go and turn the page by page for hundreds of pages to get through these records. I'm going to stay on this thumbnail view and I'm going to scroll way down to where I think the R's might begin in the alphabet. Let's explore a slightly larger record set. So here in the section for naturalizations, we see a couple of records. I'm going to click the one that says Petitions for Citizenship. This collection of citizenship papers is much larger than those death records we were looking at a moment ago. We can see that there are multiple sets of images. Think about these as a multi-volume set of books or a multi-volume set of microfilm. I see that it's organized as an index, and then several volumes of petitions that are organized by date. So we can see that the index covers all of the records, and then the petition books cover smaller sets of years, 1804 to 1813, 1855 to 1860, 1915 to 1920. I'll start by looking at the index. So we can see that we have white pages breaking sections here. So as I explore, I find, okay, so this looks to be arranged alphabetically, so all of the A surnames are together. Let's look at an example for this entry here, Tony Abranovich. We see that his petition is filed in volume 13, page 14. So I'm going to make a note of that and then return to the previous page with all of my records listed. Looking down the list, here's the line where I see petitions, volumes 12 and 13. So let's look at these images. So what we have here is it looks like actual copies of the naturalization papers. But remember that there were multiple volumes, volumes 12 and 13. So we just want to make sure that we've found the right book. I'm going to scroll until we see something that sticks out to me. So here I see a book cover. And when I zoom in, that's the start of book 12. So I know I need to keep scrolling because Tony's record is in book 13. Here we see another book cover thumbnail, book 13. So now I know we're getting close. At this point, I'm just going to zoom in and start looking for the right page numbers. So we can see here a record that's page 3. Here's page 9, I'm getting closer. And then finally, I've found page 14. And we can see that this is the petition for naturalization of Tony Abranovich of Butler County. And this record was filed here in Butler County with the Court of Common Pleas. So this is the only place you're going to find this record. These Butler County specific naturalizations are not available on other sites like Ancestry.com.